So tonight we are looking at roofs, floors, and ceilings. And we're going to start off with talking about footprint roofs. Now, just like your floor objects, your roof object is going to take its shape. It's going to take the cue for its shape from your outside walls. So if you've got a little bit of your term project done, your exterior walls are really going to drive what's happening. Now, for those of you who are doing wood frame construction, your roof is going to be drawn from a level at the top of your walls on your highest floor. So if you are doing a 2-story wood frame project, you would put your level. So if you're doing standard 9-foot ceilings, so it's 9 foot 3/4 of an inch. So here I would just say 19 feet 3/4 of an inch. Whoops. 19 feet 0 3/4. Okay. So that gives me a 9 foot 3/4 inch ceiling, standard 9-foot framing. So this level that I'm creating now would become my roof plan. So quite often what happens with our level datums is that we will have something in our levels and elevation that says something like this: underside of truss. So we've got a level that's called underside of trusses, and it's the floor plan of this level where we will create our roof plan. So here it says underside of trusses. So in my plan though, I don't want it to say underside of trusses. I'm going to rename it and call it roof plan, because this is what I want it to say when I drag that roof plan onto a sheet. Now, do I want to say yes or no? No, exactly. I want the plan to remain as being called roof plan, but I want my level to stay as underside of trusses. So yes, you are correct. So on my second floor plan, typically you'd have my first floor plan drawn. So I'm just going to throw down some walls here so we can talk about the shape of a building. So whatever your typical upper floor would look like. Now we have an example that we're going to work on in a few moments. Now I just want to make sure. So my second floor walls, I'm going to have them go up to my level for the underside of trusses. So I've got some 9 foot and 3/4 inch walls on my second floor. I haven't drawn anything for the first floor. So in my roof plan, I'm not seeing those walls. And of course the reason for that is that the view range, which we talked about on week 3, isn't looking far enough down to see those walls. So if you folks are doing a residential roof plan, one of the first things you got to do is go into that roof plan and modify the view range settings. So at number 1, your plan isn't going to cut through the roof. Now let me just show you what happens if you don't do that. First of all, I'm going to take the bottom and the view depth and set them to unlimited so I can look down as far as I need to, right down to the ground on my project. So now I can see those walls. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a standard 9 and 12 roof on top of this thing. So we'll talk about what these other settings here in a moment, but right now we're just talking about view range. So I'm just going to throw some roof lines up here. Don't worry, we're going to go through this together, but this is about view range. So when I finish, you folks will notice that the roof appears cut off. Now of course what's happening is that the view range, which moments ago I just set to unlimited so I can see as far down into the model as I need to, right down to the ground in fact. But the cut plane here is cutting at 4 feet above underside of truss. If we went back here and we cut that line across at 4 feet, that's why we're seeing that cutoff. So what we need to do in our roof plan, first of all, is go into the view range and set the cut plane to be high enough that it's not going to be cutting through our roof at all. And Revit will want you to set the top to be at least as high as the cut plane. So at 88 feet, there's no problem. We can look down on that roof. No problem at all. So that's the first order of business when you are setting up your roof plans. Now, the two different kinds of roofs that we'll be talking about tonight are from the roof menu on the architecture tab. We're going to be talking about the footprint roof and the extruded roof. Now, footprint roofs are usually made in plan, and here you can see we're looking down through our roof to the walls below. Just a little shout out here for the line work tool. You can see when I click on my roof, I can see the walls underneath, but of course in our roof plans we want to show the outside line of our walls. So just temporarily what I can do is click the roof, HH to hide it, so don't forget that keyboard shortcut, HR to restore temporarily hidden objects. So HH to hide a single object, HC to hide an entire category, and when you're done, HR to bring it back. Now, if you guys remember this, on the second week we showed you folks how to use the line work tool on a roof object, and we're going to use it here. So the secret sauce that we're doing here is that we've hidden the roof so that we can use the line work tool here, and this is on the modify tab, and switch to one of these dashed lines. So you could use, you know, say hidden in angled brackets here. Not the one that doesn't have angled brackets around it, but the one that's just called hidden. And I'm going to go and pick the outside walls of my house. And now what happens is that when I use the HR command to bring the roof back, you can see that the walls are still visible. And the really cool thing is that if we make a change to the floor plan here, and I'll just tile the views so you can see here, there's my second floor plan, here's my roof plan. As you are making changes to the house and you need to move some of those walls and you move them out a little bit, you can see that the roof plan, not only the roof plan, but those dashed lines for the walls are moving with the wall. So just remember, when you use the line work command on an object, you're not adding a 2D dimensional or a two-dimensional line. You're not adding a new two-dimensional line to the view. You are simply overriding the default presentation, if you will, of that edge, of that object, as it would appear in this view. So in this view, the default appearance of the outside edge of that wall, because of this roof, is not there. But because we hid the roof, and we used the line work tool, and we picked the edge of the object instead of being hidden, it's now appearing dashed. And don't forget, if you want to get rid of the impact of the line work tool, switch to the by category mode, and then Revit puts it back to its default appearance. So in this case, that means not there. Now, the line work tool can also override the edges of things that you would see anyway, like the edge of the roof. So you can see the line work that's there. If I use medium lines on the edge of the roof, it makes it look a little thicker. If I use wide lines like we did in the exercise in week 2, it makes it appear thicker still. So again, if you want to change something back to its default line weight, you go back to by category and you pick that object. So if I pick these lines here, it would hide them, because by category means this wall does not appear because the roof is hiding it. And again, if you're not happy with the line weights in your views, object styles. On the Manage tab, haul on over to Object Styles here, and now this is the dialog box where you can adjust the numbers of your walls or your roofs or your windows or what have you. Go down and play with the projection and cut weight numbers so you can decide how you want to, ramp those line weights up or down. Okay, so if we're looking at page 1 here, what you're looking there is, what you're seeing is a roof that's got 4 gable ends. So that's a roof of a project I did where someone wanted that sort of craftsman style look where a gable looked in each direction. And so we're going to show you folks how that tool is going to work in a few moments. I think what we'll do here is, just before I get too much farther, we'll just take 10 minutes just to grab a break before it starts, so you guys can grab a coffee downstairs, and then we'll carry on right after that. So be back here at 20 to 8, and we shall continue.